like you can't continue to have all your eggs in the Facebook ad basket because there's so many like before it was like the main worry was, will your ad account get shut down? And do you have backup accounts? Now it's like, are they going to totally change the system, or is one of the major ad providers, being the software, the Apple, Android, are they going to change something that totally changes the game? So there's all these variables that like people have to get in control of their audience. They have to quote unquote own their traffic.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Podcast Success Secrets. And this one, I mean, we can get straight to the point. Oh, first of all, I
was just thinking, man, you read my mind. I was like, for some reason, it just hit me again. I was like, dude, you look like one of your Facebook lives from like 2017.
Yeah, well, the reason I shaved my beard is because I wanted to be like, we set new business goals. I wanted to feel like a new person. So you just shave your face, and
when I quit my job, I did that. I shaved my beard when I quit my job.
Yeah, it's a good significance. Like it reminds you of that thought, which I don't know. But it doesn't look that bad, I think. But we're going to be talking about this update that Apple's having on iOS 14 that's really, really going to change paid ads. And the reason we want to talk about this so bad is because we've talked to a lot of paid marketers or paid ads people, and they still don't even know this is going to happen. So there was an article recently that talked about this, but essentially Apple is going to make it so you have to opt in to be tracked for advertising. Not right now, it's opt out. So you can follow people around the internet, and if anyone does paid ads, they know the best ads are retargeting because you're just showing someone yourself a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. Now it's have to be opt in. So Facebook and Google, like they're already blocking Google Analytics, like code, etc. The reason why they're doing this, if I had to guess, it's because Apple doesn't profit from that, and they're just trying to improve the experience. I don't know. Why do you think they did that?
I mean, if you look at all their ads that they're running right now on like TV and stuff like that, they're leaning very heavily into privacy. So whereas you got a company like Facebook who is very, at least in the eyes of the public, very anti-privacy, Apple is leaning into, okay, well, if they're going to be this, I'm going to be this. And all their ads right now are about privacy and the elevated privacy experience that you have as an Apple user over like the very fragmented system that is Android. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of the reasons that they're leaning into it, because I think it's a long-term objective of theirs is to be like the place to go for privacy as more and more people have that top of mind. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, so that's why like content is going to be way more important. You controlling the narrative or when people see your stuff or how they see your stuff, building that asset, because you can't rely on, Apple's a big player. Like they still own how much percentage of the market, of the phone market? And then also Google is probably going to do this in the future too, right? You were saying?
Well, and more importantly, it's not, you got to think about the subset of the market. It's the US market that matters to a lot of marketers right now because they're the ones that have the dollars to spend on the actual products that you're advertising to them. So I think that's an important thing to note. And there was a couple of things that we didn't touch, and maybe you're going to get into this. And it's that, like one of the things Facebook said when this first came out, so like a month or so ago, was we might as well just pull our app off the Apple App Store because it's going to cut 50% of our revenue. Right. So what does that do to like, and to be honest, I haven't looked into this a ton in the past 2 weeks. I don't know if things have evolved or changed, but like my initial thought when I read about this for, the first 2 weeks that the news was out was the biggest impact is the amount of inventory that it's going to take off the market. Right. Because like that's what it's a supply and demand. Ads are a supply and demand thing. Right. So the more people trying to advertise and taking up all the available slots, the more expensive ads get. So this is going to cut the amount of inventory. So in theory, it should drive up the cost of ads as well. So that's going to be a big impact from advertisers. And then Google talking about doing the same thing next year about making it an opt-in. So just to hit on that point again, explicit opt-in means you open the app and you literally get a pop-up that says, it says something different than this, but it says something like, do you want to see ads and do you want to be tracked around on the internet? It's like something like in your face like that. I forget exactly what it says. And you have to say, yes, I want to be tracked and shown personalized ads. Whereas before you could get out of it, but you had to go like deep in the settings and say like, I don't want to see these ads anymore, right? It wasn't intuitive. Now you update to iOS 14, open the Facebook app, bam. Do you want to see ads or not? Or do you want to see personalized ads or not? You're still going to see ads. You're just cannot see personalized ads.
I think there might be some push legally behind it, because I know like if you set up a new Microsoft computer, they ask you the same thing.
Yep.
Like, do you want to get, personalized or tracking information, et cetera? So there might be like a legal reason why they started. I know Facebook's getting a lot of shit from the government. So we have a lot of clients who paid ads was everything, right? And that's kind of why they got into content, because it is kind of something like this happens or something worse where your account gets banned, right? But where they change the game, they change the rules. Well, content and like, if you have a community, et cetera, like that you own, like a podcast or something or an email list, the game doesn't really change. It's going to be the same for a while.
Yeah, we were on a call with a guy yesterday and we were talking about this, and we said, we were like, this is one of the things they do, and they weren't completely aware of this. And I was explaining it, and I was like, yeah, like people that depend on paid ads, like this could be huge to them. And like he's like in the background, like raising his hand. There's so many people that if ads
local
stop,
businesses,
revenue stops. Like there's no new clients if there's no new ads. So like this, it really becomes about diversification at this point. Like you can't continue to have all your eggs in the Facebook ad basket, because there's so many like before it was like the main worry was, will your ad account get shut down? And do you have backup accounts? Now it's like, are they going to totally change the system, or is one of the major ad providers, being the software, the Apple, Android, are they going to change something that totally changes the game? So there's all these variables that like people have to get in control of their audience. They have to quote unquote own their traffic.
Yeah. And I mean, ads aren't going anywhere. They'll still be a thing, but like the aspect of following people or being tracked, and knowing like, all right, if they visit, websites, or if they go here or there, I want to send an ad, will diminish.
It's going to evolve. It's not going to be how it is now.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously we might be biased, but I think podcast is the alternative, because you are, Tim was telling me this actually, Tim Lyons, Built to Grow, like if you know how to talk about your audience's questions really good, then they'll naturally want, and you're actually solving their problem, they'll want to work with you or want to learn more. And I mean, ads are content if you think about it. It's just now it's like you want to have a more consistent consumption of that, not just like a one-time, like, to a customer. Content can have your stuff shared to ads. I don't think
you want them to get in a habit of consuming your content. Not just like randomly.
And especially the retention piece. The retention piece is huge. When you're delivering content. So there is one topic I want to talk about. I guess maybe I'm curious to hear what you say. Like, so I think one of the most important things that a lot of people get wrong is they don't know how to come up with a theme to a show. What would you say is like, kind of the pillars to coming up with a good idea?
I mean, the first thing you would have to answer is, how do you make it congruent with your business, right? Most of our people are people that also have businesses, so I'm going to answer it in that way. The first thing is like, how do you make it congruent to your business to where it is just a entry point and a nurture point for your audience, right? It shouldn't be this thing over here where it kind of ties with the business, but it kind of doesn't. Like, it should directly correlate with your business and your offers. Yeah,
because then naturally, or even speak directly to that audience, because then you have their attention. So yeah, that was a big thing. We're not going to go super long in this live because Ryan,
what's your thoughts?
Oh, for making a show?
Yeah.
So it depends the type of podcast and the type of business you have. I would say is important. So it's a dynamic question, but
so you're trying to trick me, is what you were doing.
Nah, I was throwing you a curveball. Yeah, throwing you a change up. But I mean, dude, good shows. It's all about the angle. Like, how are you coming at things in your market? Like, and a lot of times the angle, you have to have a special person in mind. So like you're having angles for that person in mind. Like I always think about news channels, like all of their angles. Like the angle, it could be the same story but presented differently on Fox and MSNBC.
Yeah.
Because they know like what is going to hit the button for that type of audience. So you have to, I guess, knowing the angles and like the psychology of your listeners is super important to making a
in your
show.
position. Like like why would they listen to you versus somebody else? Like how is your message a little bit different than, like, you don't have to be like radically extreme different, but like your message should always be a little bit different than the others in the market. And part of that could just be your story and how you tie it in, but you should be different in some way. Like if you can't articulate, like I stumbled on the word articulate, which is kind of ironic. If you can't articulate how you're different, then I think you have to think about it a little bit more.
Yeah. And if you can't articulate the word articulate, then you should think about it a lot. But yeah, we're not making this too long. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. And yeah, we're done. So #done.
Peace.